Conbox Spirit.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's time for our second match of the evening and to decide who the second team from Group C moving forward into the round of 8 will be. And this is going to be, on paper, one of the most even matches that we've had probably this season because MVP Space versus Conbox Spirit, both teams have 3-0'd Flash Slugs, both have taken a game off of LW Blue, but now it's time for them to clash and see who the victor is going to be.
As you say, so much overlapping, comparing these two teams, their histories, their trajectories, like you say. 3-1 losses now. They do have different map types they beat Luxury Watch Blue on. It was actually Assault for MVP Space, so it was 2-point capture for them. For Conbox Spirit, it was Control, so maybe there's just a slight difference there. They're undefeated on a map type, but apart from that, sure, we know that One Fact plays Bastion. That's like one of the unique things for MVP Space. Sure, yeah. Twilight plays so much Sombra, and there's some notable names on Conbox, and if you asked me, if you pushed me for an answer, I'd probably say Conbox Spirit, but like you say, the Flash Lux results feels like you just throw them out because they're both 3-0s and Flash Lux has been so woefully poor this season. And Luxury Watch Blue didn't really look like they were in any way tested by these teams either.
Yeah. I mean, going into this, it seemed like they were going to be the clear-cut first-place team, but no one's really threatened them beyond taking those few maps off of them. So they are sitting mighty high at the top, but MVP Space Conbox Spirit is really up in the air for these guys. No real clue as far as who's going to be able to take this, because honestly, both teams, they really do have their merits. Twilight, the best Sombra that we have here in Korea, you'd have to say. And then Yaki and One Fact, who have both been showing up really well as the DPS for MVP Space.
I don't know about him. He's the most Sombra. The best Sombra. Rascal's pretty good.
This is true.
Of the support Sombras, I think he's good, but
yes.
Chips has had some great moments and then some questionable
translocators.
But every other part of it was pretty good. So I don't know if I'd say best. He's certainly most. He plays a lot of Sombra. Even the promotion tournament, he was one of the first to really monopolize Sombra from that support position.
I'll call him the most memorable. How about that?
Okay.
I'll redact my previous statement. I'll say that he's the most memorable.
Look, I accept your compromise.
All right.
That's what it's all about. We're casting, dear. Compromise is important.
Yeah. There's no compromising in that first set, though. My shirt is completely unbuttoned, as you can see.
You should probably not make any more shirt button related.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold off on that one.
Okay.
So I'll, if I do a clothes thing again, I'll start with the socks or the shoes.
That's
being
the
removed.
secret layering thing.
Yeah,
where I take off one item of clothes, the socks counting as
I'll do the Zoolander where I take off my underwear without removing any other clothing.
I mean, remember,
first.
they only see you from the waist up, so you could have been higher stakes about the waist down.
This is true. I could just be. There could be nothing
you
going
actually
on down there.
kind of went the wrong way when it came to.
Yeah, I went top down.
That was a mistake. That was a mistake when you don't stand up, Achilles.
And I went inward out. I started with the bottom layer as opposed to the jacket. So a lot of mistakes were made. I screwed up a little bit, but you know what? I'm a man of my word, so I did it for you guys. Sorry. At the same exact time, I'm very sorry. But.
The humble side,
dear.
Achilles.
All right, well, we could get
It's a really high-stakes match. I mean, we're having a bit of fun, but that's honestly because so little separates these teams. Sure, some priority on certain picks, but otherwise, even polling the Korean casters, talking to the community, everyone is undecided about who will take it, apart from Conbox Spirit looking better in the promotion tournament. And ironically, this was actually the first match of their side of that Challengers Week, of the Super Week, and it was a 3-0 for Conbox Spirit. So they do have a head-to-head that's, again, on the latest patch, but on a related patch. It was in the same patch where Triple DPS rose so prominently. So given the fact they like to run Sombra and the Triple DPS, Conbox Spirit have shaped up well against MVP Space before, but the data points kind of end there.
Yeah. You can see, though, some MVP fans showing up. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. That's a
PUBG reference.
Yeah, exactly. That's a PUBG thing going on there, but we'll bring it out.
Ooh!
A
His
driver's
identification
license.
Card.
Okay.
Well,
interesting.
It should probably have a picture of D.Va there, because Daly has played 100% of his games on D.Va.
I mean, at least they redacted his social security number.
No, but he's played 100% D.Va. Where's the picture of D.Va on his ID card?
I don't know.
Poor effort.
Should be his mech driver's license.
That's actually a really good ID card. The fake hologram effect there, or holofoil effect, was on point. That is a long sign for OVERWATCH.
The fans are always, very much on point when it comes down to Korea.
That sign is, let me count, that's like 7 seats wide, and we only have 6 seats in a row.
The one girl is literally crouching on the staircase to hold
That
it
is
up.
dedication.
Yeah. So Conbox and MVP Space, both lots of people showing up
I
here
feel like
to show their
today,
support.
it hasn't been about the amount of fans, but just how damn boisterous and loyal they have been. These fans here, they realize that they may not be seeing their team play again. One team will go forward. The other team will be done for the season. They will avoid the promotion tournament because Flash Lux is in this group.
Feels good for MVP Space.
This group is weird because you're so easy to be like, well, soft group for Luxury Watch Blue. That's what you said when you saw the group, and Luxury Watch Blue finished first. You're like, okay, that part is true. But Runaway surprised us all with a kind of a low finish in the groups in the previous season. So there is always that outside chance that with the patch changing in the future, with other variables changing, maybe we're just poo-pooing on whoever finishes second and actually could go on to be a contender. But right now it feels like whichever team wins is probably going to be picked very early in the group draft on Tuesday.
All right, well, let's go ahead and hear from the teams as we get ready for our second match.
이제 뭔가 변화된 모습이 익숙해져가나 그런 느낌이 드네요.
첫 승이라서 저는 기분이 매우 좋았어요. MVP 경기를 많이 준비하고 있었죠, 솔직히. 현재 MVP랑 저희랑 승점도 같고 일단 등수도 같기 때문에 이번 경기가 꼭 중요하다고 생각합니다.
아쉽게도 점수 추가하지 못하면서 LW 블루가 승리를 챙겨갑니다.
좀 두려움이 남았던 것 같아요. LW 블루가 강팀이라는 압박감 때문에 저희 기량이 잘 나오지 않았습니다. 2위 결정전 많이 불안하고 떨리죠. 컨박스 피젯은 솜브라를 기용한다든가 강하게 치고 빠지는 그런 조합을 너무 잘 써요. 하지만 저희도 이제 리빌딩을 거치면서 MVP 스페이스 중에 가장 강하게 나왔거든요.
영웅폭이 조금 넓어진 거 빼고는 없는 것 같아요. 빈틈이 많았던 게 보였어요. 힐러였던 야끼님이 딜러로 전향한 약간 딜러진의 부재. 겐지 말고도 다른 딜러 영웅들은 제가 한 수 이라고 생각하고 있기 때문에 딜러 싸움에선 안 질 자신 있어요.
스틱 선수는 확실히 잘해요. 하지만 좀 잘 죽을 것 같아요. 안전한 플레이가 아니기 때문에 안정성 같은 부위만큼은 제가 더 우위라고 생각합니다. 3대1?
저희가 꼭 이번에 형들과 같이 8강을 밟아보고 싶습니다. 감수형 웃게 해드려야죠.
발버둥 치면서 여기까지 올라왔는데 다시 챌린저스 간 일은 없어야죠. 승강전 때 저희 이겼다고 방심할 것 같은데 저희가 역습해서 이겨버리겠습니다.
MVP Space referencing that 3-0 loss to Conbox Spirit in Super Week. Worth noting that one fact was not on the team at that point. MVP did consolidate and change around some of their players.
Yeah, we saw the shift of Climax over to MVP Infinity.
And MVP are a really intriguing team because you look at their most played and it makes a lot of sense. Like, all right, Tracer, Genji, that part makes sense. Diva and Winston as the tank duo. They are 2-2-2 teams. They play the balanced dive comps. Everything makes sense until you get to the fact that they don't play Zenyatta. They play everything that makes it reminiscent of Lunatic High and also Runaways, finals teams, very much in the dive meta when we had the grand final of Season 2. But they actually have a combined, across multiple players, 17% play rate on Zenyatta when everything else about their tendencies is screaming for a Zenyatta. They go for the Ana like we know from Twilight, and then Sombra pretty much monopolizes their times. They don't necessarily have the same opening target selection, and I think that can actually really stall them on other maps where you get the Discord orb down, you get the first pick, and then point A usually rolls on many maps.
See if they're going to bring that out here today, change things up for us. Conbox, very much like the rest of, like MVP Space, like we said from Kong to Panthera, probably want to hide any strategies that they possibly can if they can move forward into that round of 8. So they want to try to play this as close to the vest as they possibly can moving forward. So maybe they will just stick to their standard that we've seen from them in the last couple weeks. But maybe they'll be forced to change it up if MVP Space comes out with some wins.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is that, we talked so much about Conbox awkwardly as MVP Space have already gone off the screen, but MVP Space, they do have some interesting things about them. The Bastion that we've seen a couple of times was really intriguing on their side. So what they make of the meta, whether they'll have new things, it feels like you can describe Conbox and MVP to someone, say they're about the same power level, but then in a best of 5, the new strategies can come out, as we've seen from teams many times before. Spirit have been pretty reliable, even if we've said they are a little bit limited with specifically Zenyatta, who's been kind of a core of every comp in Season 3.
Yeah, seen so many teams bring that one out. So a bit odd that they've avoided it as much as they have, but that might be changing very soon, maybe in this set. If not, then almost certainly during the round of 8, it's going to be something they're going to have to visit.
And also, they've been avoiding playing Reinhardt, both of these teams. Gamsu was always on the Winston side of the coin at 99% Winston play, and Kuki at 94. So, not a lot to separate them there. Not big on changing to Reinhardt, so maybe Numbani won't be selected on any of this.
Avoid that one as best we can, but you're going to see a lot of overlap here between the DPSers, Architect, there with that Genji and the Pharah, but very much about the Genji.
He definitely is a Genji main, like you say. He is also by far the most experienced Genji of the two, given that Yaki has really role swapped in many ways on his new role. Genji at 50% compared to the 70% plus from Architect, but he does have the Pharah that he's also been putting time into. The DPS duo, definitely more experience on Conbox's side, but MVP space, it's so hard to work out given how they dispatch just the 1% play onto the Orisa, makes the tag, and Gamsu's, I look at his smirk and I'm like, that's an Orisa smirk right there.
Pretty much. Maybe we'll get some Orisa here today. Maybe if we visit over to Nepal, perhaps, for our first map. It's been very popular, but seeing it on Eichenwald there was also very impressive from Kong Du Panthera for a time.
So we saw it on Eichenwald Attack, I think it was, in one game. We've seen one Attack Orisa come off as people got a bit frisky against Flashlocks given their woes.
Yes, that was I believe Conbox on King's Row on Attack.
Oh, sorry, it was Attack. Sorry, Eichenwald, I misremembered. But Attack Orisa is the 1%, which you're definitely the 1%. You're a special, special human if you won with Orisa on Attack.
I remember
on King's Row.
I remember casting that BM.
Well, no time for BM today. This is much, much closer. A lot of overlap between the hero choice, a lot of overlap around the expectation. Let's see if it's a map that was traveled when we actually saw these two teams play in promotion. That was on Oasis on that day. We will be going to Nepal, so I guess the silver lining is maybe more Orisa.
Yeah, seems very likely if we end up on Sanctum. Could see that one come through. We've seen some excellent picks with the Halt, dragging Reinhardt's off of the map into the pit. So maybe we'll get to see a little bit more of that as we get ready to load up. The pressure on for both of these teams. You have to expect the biggest thing for the coaches coming into these games was just getting the mentality set for their players.
And just to be clear with the fans, it's not about score. It's not about 3-1s or 3-2s. Winner goes through from Group C to join Luxury Watch Blue in the next round, and the loser is stranded in 3rd place and will not be playing Overwatch competitively for a while.
Yep. Online tournaments, sure, but nothing on land till Season 4, more than likely. So let's go ahead, get ready to load up for our first map, our second set of the night to try and decide who will be our second team moving forward in Group C, MVP Space versus Conbox Spirit. Let's load onto Nepal.
Get it.
Late now on a Friday evening, 9:36 p.m. here in Korea.
Yeah, the full 5-game best of 5, pushed 2.5 hours for our first assignment. Now a really high stakes one. The cutthroat time has begun between MVP Space and Conbox Spirit. Going to make that run into the next round. We are starting on Sanctum, so that's fun.
Yeah, so far no signs of the Orisa. Change that up here in the next 12 seconds.
Some Reinhardt play would be different. For now, Kuki is the one who's hovering on it, and he is their main tank player. It is a pretty staple pick, Orisa and Reinhardt, with the chokes that you fight on this map, and it will be the Reinhardt.
Yeah, it's going to be triple tank here from the side of MVP Space to the 2-2-2 of Conbox Spirit.
Remember, it's Reinhardt and Roadhog against no shielding, so let's watch specifically Yaki looking for a big hook to open up a disadvantage.
Already pushing very far forward here is MVP Space, just going to be playing ring around the
Who's
rosy.
flanking who?
As they go back towards each other's spawns. Right now, MVP Space going to be posturing forward in onto the point, which is going to unlock in 3 seconds. We'll see how Conbox wants to approach this contest. Twilight here with the Zenyatta. Going to hail down some of those orbs, get some kills through. Already, though, one back going to come up with one of the Gamsu just diving in by himself into the side room, gets taken out.
It's actually really poor from Gamsu. There was never really going to be any purchase there. Has to respect Roadhog and all the other damage. And the backline had no support whatsoever. Need a Sleepy Bear there if he's going to make such a play, and that gives up first capture free to MVP Space.
Yeah, that'd be a nice one come through
Whoa,
for them.
one
One back
fact.
though. Yeah, he's just gonna get taken out. Architect, that staple Genji comes up with a kill. Conbox gonna be feeling a bit more comfortable. We'll go ahead and start pushing down in onto the point. Asher already with that pulse bomb ready to go, looking for an opening. He needs to avoid that right click from the D.Va so it does not get eaten. Speaking of the D.Va, Daly gonna go ahead and be the recipient of that nano boost, but already gets taken out, and Asher from a distance is able to snipe him out. Discord orb in onto Yaki makes him quick work for the rest of the squad, and Conbox Spirit, after only 23% accrued to the side of Space, will go ahead and get the retake.
I mean, the big issue there is the first person down was one fact, just sniped a couple of headshots from the Genji. From what we could see, meant that he went down, and he's kind of the crown jewel of the comp. He's the only person with the true hit scan DPS, not really going to factor in Ana anymore. And him dying first meant that the dive could come through, and dive is what
Asher.
unsettled the Reinhardts and Roadhogs of the world.
Know that he's here. Goes ahead, tosses out the pulse bomb. Looks like it might have gotten eaten, however, though, by the enemy D.Va, so not going to come up with anything on that one.
As well.
It's going to be the primal range here from Gamsu, just trying to knock them into the pit as best as possible, just wildly swinging through a crowd of people, but one back comes up with a double kill. OVERWATCH and Asher both going down, but that's going to be Architect dashing through, takes out Undyne. So exchanges on the supports on both sides as MVP Space. Let's have that retake come through. Conbox Spirit going to try to get this as swiftly as possible. Still suffering a couple losses here. They will go ahead and pop Sleepy Bear out of the mech. Likely keep him alive for a while before finishing him off, or maybe just leave him to his ways in Baby D form.
It was actually some really good work from Closer with the boops, because the Transcendence came through, and yet still 2 kills were completed from one fact with the tac visor. Very difficult to do, given that in the narrow crests there around this bridge, you could just basically in the corridor heal up a whole team to 4, but wasn't able to do that. 2 picks enough, and a quick reclaim from MVP Space, only 35% on the meter for Conbox.
Yeah, Asher trying to get that little sneak in, but forces MVP Space down off that high ground, back onto the point, and off the bridge. Several ultimates available to them, including this Earth Shatter here from Kuki.
Gums has to be so careful. He is really the ticket to victory. If Winston dies first, basically Conbox Spirit have to give away.
Nano boost thrown out here. Self-destruct comes through from Daly. He does take out Asher. Conbox throwing down that,
Big Earth Shatter.
yeah, that barrier coming through. The sound barrier is not going to mitigate much, and they still lose multiple members. Charge through, gets the pan, and you can see that's going to be Sleepy Bear just retreating as quickly as he possibly can. Closer does come up with that kill credit as he goes down into the pit.
I mean, Conbox are just not respecting Roadhog and
Twilight's using
Reinhardt
the...
at all. Yep.
All right, well, Twilight trying to make it over onto the point as it's now in overtime. Just goes ahead, gets knocked off the map. Yaki, feel like he might have dragged him off there with the hook. Takes him out, and MVP Space with relative ease will find themselves sanctum.
And I think really underwhelming on multiple fronts there from Conbox Spirit. I saw you shake your head. I know that was shaking your head at the just the inflexibility of Conbox Spirit to opt into a Reinhardt battle, perhaps, to try and have some coverage from the Roadhog. The moment that Winston was dying first, which is what's going to happen, he focused down the Winston when he jumps in, and then they just have no way to answer Roadhog, Reinhardt, all the clogging of the chokes. Whichever way they came around, they had someone to respect, and Conbox Spirit ran out of ideas on Sanctum surprisingly fast.
Not impressive at all here from Conbox Spirit. Not a good way to start things off. See if we can turn it around as we move over onto Shrine. Twilight looking for that Sombra to start things off.
You can get really aggressive and start hacking health packs just at the entrances on Shrine. You can get a lot of value. Otherwise, you're kind of not always controlling a big area. We'll get 1 health pack at least.
Yeah, it's got the 200 HP over on the left side flank. Can they hold forward is going to be the question here. Gamsu already going low, has to leap over onto the point to keep himself out to safety.
Space don't want to fight around this area because of that health pack disadvantage.
Attack going low, will get taken out. Kuki and one back both coming up with kills as the Genji and the Winston go down. We'll trade it 1 back here as they do get rid of Daly, taking him out of the mech, but Sleepy Bear is going to lose his simultaneously. Point open, MVP Space already posturing forward. Should be able to get this cap, and OVERWATCH by himself, he'll deny through. He gets taken down.
And the instant 2 picks really undid all the good work from Conbox Spirit to have the specific strategy around defending the health pack. Health pack wasn't really relevant when 2 went down so quickly, and winning with a terrain disadvantage is big for MVP Space.
Yep. Twilight just trying to get himself up towards that EMP. We'll have it in just a couple seconds here. But will there be the capitalization from Conbox Spirit to really make it worth it? Hack does come through, 1 back
EMP
in a bad spot. Goes very low, keeps himself alive for the moment, trying to get through that mech from Sleepy Bear, but gets dashed through by Architect, taking him out. Sleepy Bear gets knocked out, Kuki comes up with a kill, and so far MVP Space still maintain control over the point. Gonna be the Dragon Blade out here from Yaki.
Seems unnecessary.
Yeah, doesn't quite find any targets, so just draws this one out. Can't even get that final swipe in onto Architect. Will be headed for the hills, however, as they start dashing through each other. But hack health back.
Yeah.
Yeah, it means that Architect will have the upper hand, so a bit of a waste from Yaki, but MVP Space still maintain control, now approaching 50%.
It should have been better communication there. It was popped after 4 members had already fallen, so couldn't find a single kill there. So we'll have a disadvantage. Architect will have that Genji ultimate, the more experienced Genji.
See if he can do it. In the meantime, that's going to be the nano boost in onto Kuki. He's going to be zapping away as best as
EMP up
possible.
again.
Several members going low, and yeah, one back now with a pulse bomb ready to go. Can he find a target? Tosses it out. Doesn't find anything for his trouble, though. He gets taken down. Conbox finally coming up with multiple kills. A 1 for 3 in the exchange, but still have not been able to get control over the point quite yet. Delay is coming through. As you can see closer, just zipping around the top sides of the point. Will get taken down, and that will be the switch coming through. 75% already accrued for MVP Space, however.
And the second capture attempt is successful, but 75%, like you say, is quite a defendable lead here. MVP Space, you can get really frisky, pushing up and hacking health packs. Able to do it, and that means that you can push up pretty confidently as MVP Space. So as Conbox, because the pullback for MVP Space is not to a health pack, so you can get a really big advantage.
You're just that much more reliant on your healers here, but MVP Space already going to start to push up. They have that self-destruct ready to go from Daly if he wants to pop it out. They force the Primal Rage from Gamsu, goes dangerously low, and the dash through from Architect gets rid of the enemy Tracer. Gamsu looking for a couple knockoff kills if he can find it. Quite get it, but leaps back into the point and helps finish off closer. So still gaining ground here is Conbox Spirit. As Yaki falls, Gamsu finally showing up on this Winston. And, well, you know, when there's not a Roadhog, things go well for him.
Well, there you go. That's a mathematical equation he can remember. If 0 Roadhog equals play Winston. But this is a really good spot for Conbox Spirit. After losing the first point, keeping on to the Sombra I thought was too much of a risk because obviously doesn't offer very much threat when you're attacking the point. But when you control the point, the fact that you can disrupt health packs and basically have a team fight winner in the EMP that's just come up as I speak means it's going to be very difficult for MVP Space. They're going to have to be so respectful to bait out EMP and still win a fight.
Pulse Bomb comes down, not quite going to get the stick there.
EMP already used.
Yeah, but Kuki's still going to fall all the same. Architect dashes his way through, finds that kill. Asher desperately trying to run away. They'll go ahead, throw on the nano boost onto Yaki. This seems a bit disjointed from the side of MVP Space. Dashes forward, just going to find an assist. Does end up taking down Architect for the kill, but still, the push forward it's not going to be there for MVP Space, and it's getting ready to be overtime here for Conbox Spirit.
Yeah, the ult layering onto Yaki and the use of the ultimates here have been woefully poor from MVP Space.
Bear going to get knocked out of that. Will throw down the self-destruct, not quite going to find a kill, but Conbox Spirit still maintain control. MVP Space now just trying to pile in. Get as much dominance as they possibly can. The sound barrier comes down here from closer as Kuki's just knocking Conbox Spirit's members away as best as he possibly can. As much as he can manage as they tried to regain control over this point, but it's still a far cry from switching hands.
The Architect's going to fall low, but they have so much of an advantage. This should be the cap for Conbox Spirit, and honestly, MVP Space, if they had claimed this map after 2 woeful uses of the Genji ult, the second time with the nano boost popped on top of it, would have kind of ripped some hair out of my head. That was some Season 1 Genji play there, unfortunately, coming through. The expectations are higher, and to get 0 kills from 2 Genji ults, it's getting more work done without the ult, Achilles, and that's usually a bad sign.
Yeah, not good at all there from MVP Space, and just a complete swap from what we saw from them on Sanctum, where they were doing really well.
Well, they're going to want to get back to Sanctum, but that's impossible. We're best of 3s here in Apex, so...
Oh dear, well now it's all down to Village.
Where the comps go, because suddenly as Yaki, you're not really feeling going on to the Genji again. It's one of the worst Genji rounds we've had in a long time, and predictably.
It's going to change it up, go to the...
But it's not
this
Farah,
though.
Misty, right? It's just Farah, so we'll require on Undine to be putting the coverage on the Ana.
See if Architect can get himself in range to just swipe his way through the sky and take him out, but already Undine's going to be the first one to fall, followed up by Closer. Architect already starting to do some work here with his Genji. As you would expect, given that play rate, Kuki getting taken out. This is not looking good for Space at all. Conbox just having complete dominance for the opening of this point.
Yeah, and when you lose the control point, it's very hard for Farah to duck in. On defense, she's very, very strong. But after you lose first capture...
You got 15% on that first push.
Yeah, and kind of the issue here is that their comp in no way is built to deal with a Genji. This is the sort of comp where Genji can just run wild. You might say the same thing about Farah if they had got first capture. But given they have to attack with the Pharah, this Genji's going to have a happy time.
Yeah, they do swap over to the pharmacy though, as Undyne picks up the Mercy for himself. One fact pushing forward, desperately trying to come up with some kills, but the shots from Twilight zone him back and force out the recall so he can keep himself safe. Has the pulse bomb ready to go, but Asher dashes forward, smacks him in the face with a pistol, comes up with kill.
And it's also big because it keeps Sleepy Bear alive. Was the only tank available was Gamsu. Only now is going to get back on the point.
Well, they're in onto this one. Asher does go down, so delay tactic not really going to be there for Conbox Spirit, but the rest will be coming through here as he pops him back in. Undyne just trying to posture forward with the rest of his team. MVP space to maintain control over this one. Nano boost in an Architect, just trying to swipe through with a Shuriken, trying to get as many hits as he can to build up towards that Dragon Blade. Could be very close to it, just now coming up for him. Could be very crucial for the retake. At the moment, MVP space maintained control.
Yeah, the Nano Boost was used to build up the Nano Blade, but of course the Blade went away. Yaki's going to open up with the ultimate.
Oh,
Doesn't get
Barrage
much.
comes down, but that's going to be the deflection plus the Dragon Blade there from Architect to come with the kill. Finds Undyne, just dismantling that pharmacy comp all by himself. Gets healed up, and this should be the retake coming through for Conbox Spirit. Nobody from MVP, other than
Tracer.
one fact, to try to contest this, but he gets taken down rather quickly.
Yeah, that was a really interesting passage of events. Architect got the Nano Boost to open up with the Dragon Blade, but couldn't quite build. It was 82%, had to leave. Thus, they lost positioning on the point, but came back in, like you say, on point with the deflect. No value from the barrage. Back in the same scenario as Asher wants to catch someone
pulse bomb,
eaten
though.
by the Diva.
Yeah, not going to find anything for this one. Still can rip through Kuki from the backside, but it's a little bit of damage. Gets scared off. Meanwhile, Yaki dangerously low. One more shot from
Unannounced
Liana.
on
Wouldn't
full
take him
display
down.
there.
Yeah, that's when you wish that it was several patches ago, so you could actually get that kill off to the side of Twilight. Won't find it. Pulse bomb tossed out by one back. Gets a little bit of damage down on the Sleeping Bear. Will help pop that neck by the look of it. Yeah, we'll get knocked out of there.
So many low health members for Twilight to look at, and Rez comes through from Undine.
Yeah, Undyne popping them back up, but Daly just got knocked out of the mech, so he's not going to benefit, and actually he's going to be the first one to fall. Sound Barrier comes through, only catching 3 members there. He is closer. Not going to be the full effect to try to get regain control over this point. Architect yet again recipient of that Nano Boost without the Dragon Blade. Just trying to build up as quickly as he can for it. He tries to take that Pharmacy comp out of the sky, but the
They didn't
accuracy,
need to,
not quite
Achilles.
there.
They didn't need to take out the Pharmacy because everyone else on the side of MVP Space fell. One last attack with no ultimates here for MVP Space, who used the res early. They thought that was their push, didn't get it, and now it's panic stations for MVP Space.
Yeah, overtime comes through. They will have a barrage in a second here. Yaki tosses it out, but that's not going to find anything for it. Meanwhile, Asher comes up with the
Both
kill on the
tanks are
Kuki. They
dead.
knock out Daly. Yeah, no front line for the side of MVP Space. And Gamsu just shows up huge with the Winston. Overtime getting ready to take down. Can anybody contest
Nope.
it? The answer is going to be no. Conbox Spirit. They take out Village. They find Nepal for themselves, despite losing Sanctum in the first round.
The first round of attack in that final round there on the point there on Shrine was so important. Sorry, on the last point, the big issue there was the first person to control, whether it was the team with the Pharah or the team with the Genji, would have such a significant terrain advantage that they would be very likely to pull it through. And that actually proved true for Conbox Spirit, very heavily winning the first skirmish and then being able to defend the point on Village. So big pickup there for MVP Space on the second map on Shrine, but by the time Village rolled around, they ran out of ideas. They were well outpicked and on team composition on Sanctum. So all in all, probably deserved winners of Control for Conbox Spirit, but we already hear we're going to get a tactical pause, and this could be another one of these matches that goes the full 5.
Certainly could. Very close there for a bit on Shrine. MVP Space just couldn't quite find it, but now tactical pause called out by these guys. 3 minutes on the clock to gather their thoughts and start planning their next move. We'll see where they want to move when it comes down to this hybrid map. That will be their
Hybrid will
selection.
be interesting. I mean, Hybrid has been where a lot of the highlights have been for MVP Space. The use of Bastion on Hybrid maps has been really notable. I think it got a lot of work done on defense on King's Row. In spite of losing that map, the Bastion was doing a lot of work, often getting 3 kills, but just losing out in the war of attrition. So King's Row might be the suggestion here. We didn't see any King's Row in our first series.
Well, if they're planning on playing the Bastion, King's Row would definitely be the better selection as opposed to Hollywood, where it was pretty abysmal. By them against LW Blue, got found out very quickly.
Yeah, Tracer got in the back line, and you kind of know how it goes from there.
Yeah, there's not as many angles for the Bastion to play in on Hollywood as opposed to King's Row, where you can
Selection.
really play around the corners and keep yourself hidden.
I mean, MVP Space are 2-0 on Eichenwald, so there's the possibility that the map that decided our previous series will be chose here, but Funnily enough, both teams undefeated on Eichenwald. Low sample size, it's definitely been one of the most underutilized maps, but they're going to want to avoid the Hollywood. It has been a frustration for them, so Kings Row Eichenwald is probably going to be my prediction of where MVP Space chooses to go for the second map.
Maybe they'll shake it up and just give us Numbani.
We had our Numbani in the first set. Come on, who doesn't want... Is it really a day of Apex if we get 0 Kings Row games?
That's true. It's the most standard for sure.
It's that 51-49 map where everyone finishes.
Anything can happen.
You get a full completion. You get a full completion.
We see those rare. I mean, when Conbox Spirit last time they played on Kings Row, it was the full hold on point A and then the Orisa attack for the 33% take.
I mean, that was with Flash Lux involved, though. Very hard to comment on the meta when Flash Lux, who, you know, Fleto was doing some heroic things in the promotion tournament, but nobody on that team was looking like a star during the course of their 3 matches.
Nope, not at all. And I mean, when MVP Space, played against Flash Lux, we were saying, Fleta, Vale, the 2 DPS, the members that likely could go ahead and move on to a better team, got taken down by Yaki and One Fact very easily, you'd have to say.
And what I hope is happening here is the coach is also speaking to Yaki, because again on Shrine we saw his great struggles with playing the Genji was very woeful on his performance on that map, so I think just talking him, calming him down. It was Kongdu Panthera that called their own tactical pause after one map, and I think just giving him a talking to, because his most played is Genji, and he will need to return to it through the majority of this series.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we'll see how that tactical pause affects the play here from MVP Space and Conbox Spirit alike, as they do get to share in that nice little 3-minute break.
Both teams dropped a map, so I think both teams could always do with a talking to. There was no perfection achieved in our assault maps.
Seems like Architect utilized the time to take a bathroom break.
Oh, that's useful. Hey, you got to, when the call of nature comes, Achilles. We're going to finally see what that section was for MVP Space. We're thinking about Eichenwald and Kings Row, and it will be the Eichenwald. So going with what's worked for them, never been defeated in their top-level career on Eichenwald. It gave us a lot of fireworks when we saw it in the first series, so we can't complain.
Yeah, maybe we'll get a similar defensive style. Torbjorn Orisa perhaps on point A.
No, we won't.
Probably not.
No. Don't even hope for it. You're just going to be disappointed.
It was very entertaining.
It was great. And then they lost.
They did.
In spite of the great Torbjorn Orisa Reinhardt combo
Of 2017.
Lol.
All right. Well, we'll see what these guys are going to piece together here. MVP Space, their map selection, their winning record on Eichenwald. Can Conbox upset that, give them their first big loss, and move themselves over to match point? Let's go ahead and find out as we load up for our second map of our final match of the night. We're on to Eichenwald.
Music on this map to open up is very heroic.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of a double whammy, too, because we're sitting way up in the studio, so I feel very regal right now.
I mean, it's a very decrepit old castle.
Is it? Do you think it's decrepit? I mean, it's definitely on point A, like outside the walls of the king's chambers. He's kind of let it get a bit woeful, but I think it looks pretty regal once you get in.
It's just, you see it in a different light when it's nighttime. I mean, think back to Junkin Scene's
That's
Revenge,
true.
So you can have that effect where it starts looking not so great.
And also you have
maybe
jerks
haunting.
coming through, breaking all your walls and stuff.
Yeah.
Knocking down all these well put together parchments.
Like, well, no one lives here anymore. Let's just destroy it all.
That's not how it works.
Yeah.
It's someone's property.
I know. No respect for the old residents. It's like, what if we just started walking around, like, destroying, like, Machu Picchu and all these ancient civilizations?
We'd probably get in a little bit of trouble.
Probably.
Well, there's a weekend trip idea.
You go to the Temple of Anubis, start setting off explosions and stuff. I don't think they'd like that very
Probably
much.
not. You know what I would like? Some new picks. So One Fact sticking with a pick he's definitely brought out in the past in the McCree. It'd be fun.
First one today.
McCree is always a bit sparing, unfortunately, in the current meta. Different type of comp here from MVP Space. They do have backline threat, but OneFact wants to be picking out Genjis. Do have double hit scan, so the potential for taking out Architect, who you can always plug and play, is going to be playing Genji.
So he manages this one. The angles for the Deadeye might not be the greatest here.
Speaking of angles, the angle of attack here for MVP Space is going to actually try to take over the house behind the point, but meanwhile, Kuki goes down.
Ooh, OneFact over on the high ground. Already finds Architect, taking him out with that headshot. Now getting a couple laid down here onto Gamsu.
I mean, you definitely picked the McCree to deal with Genji. He did that already.
Yeah. Flashbang comes down, not going to find anything there. Though gets consumed up by Sleepy Bear. Gamsu will fall, however, as Daly just boops him to death. So already posturing forward here is MVP Space, trying to get that first tick coming through. Pulse Bomb from Asher, not going to get the connection, not going to find a kill. Suffering for that one, and he's losing members of his team as Twilight gets taken down, but they're able to answer with Yaki and Kuki.
Yeah, the angle of approach there was to complement the McCree in the top with Winston jumping up, but Winston died trying to make his grand entrance, jumping up to the top of the house, and thus the attack plan just fell apart. OneFact was just exposed and taken down by the two frontliners, the Winston and the D.Va. So back to the drawing board here.
Just realized I said point number A. That was a good moment.
Don't think too hard about some of the things you say during Overwatch casts.
Oh, I'm not thinking hard at all about anything. That's why these are happening.
Standard play-by-play casting.
That's how beautiful tracking happens.
That's true.
See though, Kuki leaping in. Yeah,
On
has
the
an nano
nano
boost. They go ahead, they
boosted
sleep him down. Nice shot coming through from Twilight, but he gets taken out. Deadeye finds Asher at the same exact time. They're able to trade one back on the Undyne, but that's about all that's staving off the swarm of MVP Space for the moment. Oh, Barochi taken down. OneFact showing up with the McCree, and that should be the cap coming through. Maybe some last-ditch delays from the side of Conbox Spirit, but looks like nobody going to be in range for that one, so we'll just be handed over likely to MVP Space.
Yeah, OneFact actually caught Yaki as he was dashing in with the ultimate. McCree ult, often for zoning, in this case was deadly. In the end, MVP Space do get it at the second time of asking. Castle phase has been pretty polarizing so far today. They don't have a lot of ways to contest the high ground. It's only the D.Va and the Winston. Definitely not going to be getting any help from the McCree.
Asher going for a grand little journey, but that's going to be a defense matrix there saying thank you very much for your pulse bomb.
Fox Spirit do have a drop-down defense comp. They don't have Soldier to try and occupy the high ground. All OneFact can do is try to make his way stealthily into the castle.
Flashbang comes through, dash to the side for Asher, keeps himself safe, so no guaranteed headshot, just about coming through for this one. But he pushes forward, finds Architect though. So still going to find a nice opening. They use the sound barrier. Not sure how necessary it might have been, but still keeps them safe as they push forward into the castle and come up with multiple hits. OneFact now in a bit of danger as Gamsu goes ahead and pops that primal rage, but he's operating up onto the high ground at the moment.
But when you approach fights this way, you actually get less meterage on the cart than if you had true dive heroes, because during this whole time they had to invest so many people that the cart didn't move at the start, and only now is getting the traction from the picks that OneFact picked up.
Look at all these ultimates here for the side of MVP Space. Like I said, use that sound barrier a bit unnecessarily, but still have 5 to back them up, including that nano boost here for somebody like OneFact who has the Deadeye ready to go, so it can really speed up that lockdown. He has to go back with a recall. Asher goes down. It's going to be Deadeye popped down here by OneFact. No Electric Cowboy this time around, but does zone them back. Barrier comes down to keep Gamsu safe as that lock-in does come through, but to no avail.
Yeah, Architect taken down before he could farm up the Dragon Blade either. Sleepy Bear taken out as well. They're getting good pushes, but we're getting onto the bridge, and this is where things can get pretty damn tricky.
Yeah. So all the sleep did come through there, I believe, onto Kuki, but still makes it out alive. Barrier comes down. That biotic grenade to help keep him up.
Be a defensive nano blade. We will see it.
And he's going to go ahead, draw this one out, jumping forward. Heal Deny comes out, dashes through, finds a kill on the closer, and Undyne. Both the supports taking it out, finds OneFact as well. Architect, the big Dragon Blade that Conbox Spirit needed on the defense, but still 2 minutes. Just a couple meters in front of point B.
You say just a couple of meters, but that's actually bigger for Conbox Spirit than it is for MVP Space, because getting back to the cart has proven very frustrating for multiple teams so far. In Apex Season 3, it is very hard terrain to contest. The first approach from MVP Space will be through the castle, going for the shortest route.
Asher with a cheeky little flank angle there, trying to build up for that pulse bomb, nearly has it, tries to finish off Kuki, forces out the primal rage at least. They're still burning through a few of these remaining ultimates that MVP has for themselves. Closer, taken off screen. As Architect finds the kill. Self-destruct from Sleepy Bear, not going to get much. Still just zones them back as Asher goes hunting for an enemy tracer.
And the win is actually bigger than it appears because they got out the Primal Rage for free. It was a defensive Primal Rage, so he didn't die. And they're just cleaning up members from here. It's a very small investment from Conbox Spirit. Gets a massive reward, and now it's basically a last attack by the time they get onto the cart. They'll probably have about 40 seconds, and they've really got nothing to show for it apart from a sound barrier. Drop down from Asher.
Yeah, throws that one out. Not going to find anything for it, though, so no big pick. If he had done that, that would have been a big stopper to MVP Space's shove.
Yeah, Daly was in position there to deny it from being a big radius pulse bomb.
If they go ahead, they start working their way up onto the ramparts. Have a nice posturing forward here, and Daly still holding on to the self-destruct. But finding Gamsu, that's going to be a very nice opener here for them. Now it's all on Sleepy Bear. Tank things up, has that nano boost coming through for him just to help him stay alive. Pump out a little bit of extra damage, but the sound barrier comes out from MVP Space, so they can go ahead and just chew up all of those shots coming through from the machine guns of Sleepy Bear. He'll get popped out of the mech. He'll get taken out almost certainly here. They can delay this. And that's going to be a resumed push for MVP Space as they keep going closer and closer towards point B.
Yeah, Twilight way out of position. Probably not even going to be a last-second contest. The respawns are coming through. Will there be anyone to get there?
Nope.
Below 2 meters? No. Gamsu getting caught out first, and now the dive in from Architect after the point is already taken. He's going to get chased down.
Yeah, they're going to try to deny this as best as possible, but still get him Daily.
Oh,
showing very deep
Conbox
into the
Spirit
castle.
so close to making the right moves, but Gamsu jumped in too early, had no backup. He died, and then the team was exposed, and they lose out on their terrain advantage at the end by just pulling the trigger, thinking the job was already done.
Well, this is going to be the swap through here for Gamsu. Moves over to the Reinhardt, wants this shield for the choke point. Self-destruct tossed out here by Daly, goes very low in the backside, and Architect will come up with the kill, but the self-destruct does find Asher in the meantime, and Architect can't get anything else because the attack visor from one back takes him down. Doesn't get too much else, but still finishing off the Genji, getting rid of that backline threat for his supports is so crucial for this push for MVP Space, rounding this final corner, and they completed 43 seconds left on the clock, and we have a pause.
That's awkward. Hopefully that's going to be quickly resolved. Gamsu gave MVP Space a reprieve. We've seen 2 of his jump in and instant deaths. The first time on Sanctum, now here in map 2. If we get any information about the pause, we'll pass it on to you, Apex fans. Seems like it's an issue in the MVP booth, perhaps with Kuki.
Pretty poor timing. PC issue.
Oh, that's not the issue you want. And it's on the MVP side when they're in a really good terrain.
Yeah, this is a very awkward time to have this pause come through. Getting those, couple picks already thrown down for themselves.
With a good time bank, with the cart just rounding to point C on Eichenwald. Hopefully it's something that can be addressed and we can restart the map.
Let's see. Have the 80s in the booth trying to figure out exactly what's causing the issue here for Kuki.
But we should really come back to how MVP Space got there, because it looked like they will be frustrated making the push during the point B phase, the castle phase, because
it was all on Gamsu.
They didn't have ults. That's the thing, is that it was a lot about the mistake rather than necessarily reward, because they went for that contest on the bridge, but Gamsu had gone so early, like I mentioned he did, on Sanctum, our first map of the control on the night, and died for free. And from there, even having ultimates, an ult economy advantage for Conbox Spirit, it's pretty hard to spare the woes when your main tank frontliner goes down. And Winston, we know, a lot of people talk about how important he is in this meta, whether it's taking down triple DPS members or occupying space in a meta where Reinhardt has largely been made irrelevant, barring just a couple of points, like, for example, Eichenwald point C. You just can't allow your frontline Winston to be the first person to go down. Yeah. And that has meant that the MVP Space got a reprieve when they looked like they'd be frustrated in that phase, and now, assuming this PC issue can be corrected, we'll be hoping to close out point C on Eichenwald.
It's especially even worse when you get ripped through that quickly as a Winston without a Zenyatta on the enemy team. Because, I mean, the Discord Orb, it amplifies the damage so very much, but to still be taken down in a similar time frame without that enemy Zenyatta there is pretty impressive by Gamsu in the worst way possible.
Impressive lowlights. Always amusing contrast of terms, but not a lot of amusement in either booth. Hoping that we can just return to the match, but As we go on, it becomes more likely there may have to be a map remake, which would be very harsh onto MVP.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big momentum shutdown for both teams. You know, Conbox looking to have that defense and MVP rounding the final corner. You know, have to keep track of where you were just moments before that pause came through.
I mean, if any team wants a do-over, it's definitely Conbox Spirit. There's nothing. It's not like Kings Row where you can basically assume the cut will make it some way into point C. Not the case on Eichenwald, even though we saw teams do a great job pushing it in earlier rounds today. And of course, Eichenwald has been changed since Season 1 and Season 2 of Apex, where
making it a lot
finishing
easier.
it was like impossible, basically.
Yeah, once you get past point B, it was a big old pain in the
rear.
rear, you would say.
We're on broadcast, so we definitely say rear. We don't have any other words. Just yay!
All right, seems like we got things taken care of. So to get you back up, OVERWATCH just got taken down
OVERWATCH has been
by
dead for a
Undyne.
long time. It's about 4 minutes there.
Well, 35 seconds, all that remains here for MVP space, and Conbox here still pushing very far forward up towards the gateway.
Just 30 seconds, so one last push. They have to really shed all the frustrations of the pause and make it happen now.
Sleepy Bear is going to have a monstrous self-destruct here. His own back MVP space can buy them a lot of time because Gamsu does not have an Earth Shatter available yet. Still just 40% about on that meter.
Now ults on the side of MP space, soon to be a sound barrier, building it up. Looks like it's going to be an overtime sound barrier push, and then things go wrong for MVP space.
Pushing in where they can, one fact gets chunked out considerably. An Architect here on this main, building up very swiftly towards that Blizzard. Self-destruct does get thrown out here from Sleepy Bear. Not going to find anything. The sound barrier is out from MVP space.
Pulse bomb
comes down, does find Asher. Decent opening here. More spaces. They try to push forward in onto the payload. Sleepy Bear going low inside the back, dashes forward, gets the heal deny coming through, and will get popped out in the end. But still, Conbox Spirit are pushed right up against this payload as their own sound barrier comes down. Nanovisor out from one fact, finds a kill in onto Gamsu. Doesn't get much more than that, but Daly does take out Sleepy Bear, so the front line of Conbox Spirit has been
Architect's
mitigated.
being a hero here.
Yeah, that Blizzard coming down, just freezing up multiple members. Deadeye around the corner, finds one fact, pulse bomb, not gonna connect. Asher just sitting right on top of this one, and it's all basically on Yaki, but he gets taken out. And Conbox Spirit will be able to hold it off right in front of point C.
It looked good to the casual viewer when the Nanovisor was riding. There were a lot of targets, but previously the Blizzard had clumped up all of the front line, and then 2 other exit kills after the Blizzard means that it was honestly well played by May. May really separated the final engage, had the Blizzard early in the fight. Really smooth stuff there on defense. So still, giving up more meterage than they would like. But solid close means there is an achievable target for Conbox Spirit on attack.
Yeah, right in front of point C here. That's all that they need to do. I say all that they need to do, but still it's been very difficult despite the results from this set and the one we saw in match number 1.
Definitely wanting the first push onto point A and then reevaluate strategy here. So we could see one of these different variables, like for example, Widowmaker coming through. Always the possibility. MVP space is on defense, so you always have one eye on one fact to see if the Bastion's coming out. Not so far.
Yeah, not this time around. Still just going to be operating in with the Tracer. And Yaki changing things up, going for the Pharah at least at the moment.
That's with plugging and playing the Genji. So that part of the equation, like, okay, if you're against a Genji player, then Pharah can be a good thing to open up. Conbox Spirit have played very little Soldier in this particular set of games, so I understand the theory, given they are a team that don't often run the Soldier. In fact, their Soldier player is Sleepy Bear, who, of course, is much more commonly on tanks. So you understand why they're opening up the defensive Pharah, but if Asher does stick with Widowmaker, there is certainly an easy target in the Pharah.
Looks like he might be looking to commit to this one. Maybe just go for an opening snipe. Peeks out, misses the grapple point, and
Feels bad.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty awful. Let's just go ahead and start pushing forward. So they do identify that there's a Widowmaker, and you can see immediately Yaki and Undyne both hiding back behind the tower to keep themselves safe.
It does, again, do the Widowmaker thing and provide an easy entrance towards the attack, but Widowmaker needs to get some sort of value.
Yaki just firing away from above where he can. So be careful, does find Asher, gets a couple hits in onto him, but Twilight's actually going to be the first one that goes down as one fact opens things up here for MVP space. Snipes coming through, one more hit onto Undyne, would have taken him out, but he gets that passive healing coming through, and Asher way too far forward. is just turned into mincemeat by Daly.
Yeah, missing that first hook shot kind of took all the oomph out of the push from Conbox Spirit. He instantly changes over to the McCree. He's like, well, I tried, guys.
Yeah. Can at least just, hit him at a distance. They're getting that full damage coming through, but still do decently. And Twilight moving over onto the Sombra.
Well, he is definitely a when-in-doubt Sombra player. Has the highest percentage of Sombra play of anyone in Apex Season 3.
Like I said, most memorable for sure.
Most for sure is what I'm willing to say.
Let's see how much work he can get done here as he swaps over. Flashbang gonna get eaten up by that defense matrix. No lockdown coming through here for Asher. Twilight getting quite a bit of ult charge coming through as he tries to get the hack through onto Daly. Quite get that, but still some openings here. As Kuki and One Fact both go down. Conbox Spirit now posturing forward in onto the point, gonna get things rolling as they try to get that first tick down.
Yeah, and they got more than a first tick. At this point, no, they will be forced to back away, so just a single tick all in all. Very low health bar.
Twilight still operating around the sidelines, trying to keep track of closer and maybe even take him out. Barrage comes down from Yaki, finds Orochi off screen, but Architect cuts his way through that Pharah. That's going to be the EMP coming down. Asher now popping the Deadeye, looking for a target, but they're all cheating back into the buildings and around the side of that payload. Now with the sound barrier thrown down as well, it just means he's going to go ahead and tickle the shields on these MVP space members. And Conbox still struggling to gain any more ground just in front of that second tick. Like they might not be able to get it here as no one's contesting the payload and they're still getting picked off.
Yeah, they still haven't even been able to establish 2 checkpoints on this point A. Forced away is Asher. So defensively. The McCree really hasn't given them the value they're looking for. And they staggered the Sombra ultimate early, thinking they might get the early cap. But now they don't have it for Architect to potentially get a massive Dragon Blade off. So certainly no essence of a combo ultimate for the Sombra right now. Needs one of those DPS ults and the Sombra ult, and the Sombra's still at least you'd say 30 seconds away from the EMP.
Even at 45%, 30 seconds is still such a ridiculous amount of time.
Gamsu dies before the sound barrier can actually affect him.
Yeah, that's going to be the pulse bomb coming through. Just takes him right out. Conbox Spirit losing out yet again as Asher goes down. Things not looking good for them. Less than a minute on the clock for them to complete this, and they still basically have to go all the way to point C, so it's looking like MVP Space might just be able to pick this up and tie up the series.
Yeah, even just taking the first point is going to be a mind game as they actually managed to hack out the Mercy.
Oh, jumping around, actually gets out alive with 4 HP, barely
Diva's defense
manages.
matrix does a big assist to keep Twilight up.
Yeah.
This might be the difference. They will have the Sombra EMP for their overtime push, you'd have to imagine, on point A.
Still down to the wire here.
Everyone's respecting
opening.
Sombra.
Yeah, everyone's just playing out of sight, out of mind, so they just don't have to get affected by this EMP. He will drop it in, affects a couple members, and Architect does draw out that Dragon Blade, finds Sundown to start things
Dead.
off, but Yaki coming up with those direct hits, takes him down. Looks like he might make it out safely. Gamsu does chase in rather deep to try to finish him off. Cap starting to come through here for the side of Conbox Spirit as they try to still get towards that second tick, but MVP Space knocking Sleepy Bear out of the mech, getting rid of both tanks as Gamsu goes down. Means that there's no one there to contest, and they'll go ahead and pick it up, tie up the series 1-1.
An anemic push, you'd have to say, coming through from Conbox Spirit when Asher failed the first shot or the first salvo on the Widowmaker and had to just be a ground Widowmaker to open. You knew that things were not looking great, and in general, it felt like it was a very powerful and controlled defense from MVP Space. Some really nice stuff from them, and it just didn't look like there was ever any serious threat of Conbox Spirit actually taking point A. And they toiled so much on defense as well that we predicted it's going to be close, and confirmation now going to the first break. It's going to be going to at least 4 maps.
Yeah, very well could go the distance as well. Could have 2 5-game sets this evening, Papa Smithy.
This one is for all the marbles. One team will be going through to the second round. The other team will be going home. That was the story in the first round, but it required a 3-0. Those asterisks are not there here. It's all about winning on the day, and Conbox Spirit toiled pretty hard on Eichenwald.
Yeah, gonna have to go ahead and gather themselves together, focus their play, because Gamsu especially dying early on that defense was what really helped cost them Eichenwald and to hand over this tied matchup at the moment. So we're gonna go to a break. When we come back, we'll see who will take a lead in this set. So don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be back in just a few.
get it.
Our eyes were fully dilated there, Achilles.
Somebody's motivated.
Conbox Spirit, again, historically 2-0 MVP space, never played in Apex on Temple of Anubis. And you look at the selection, you're like, okay, well, who benefits the most from choosing Temple of Anubis? And it is Twilight, like you mentioned. This is the new pick. In the previous seasons, it wasn't going to be as relevant as it is now. So a lot of the draft here, I think, specifically for the side of Conbox Spirit, is around really empowering Twilight and their Sombra play that they have done the most of. Like you say, they've spent the most time running Sombra, so theoretically, on a map where Sombra is fantastically strong on offense and defense, really. We've seen the offensive Talon comps with the Reaper and the Sombras. Yes, because we cast another game saying Talon is weird. But we may see it on both offense and defense, especially on point B. For point A, our first Sombra is going to be one fact on defense. That's a bit different. It is going to be one of the DPS players playing the Sombra, so Rascal-esque here from one fact.
Still going to be playing it, 2-2-2 style with the very aggressive Sombra, build up those EMPs and just make sure you can continuously shut down Conbox.
Control the health pack also on one of the large attacking routes, which you'll see that Conbox Spirit will at least cheating towards.
He's trying to sneak his way in there, get onto one of the squishier targets. Conbox Spirit can't quite find it, so just going to fire into the flank. Those massive hitboxes of Gamsu and Sleepy Bear.
And once you've committed to a side and you see the hacked health pack, it's actually quite hard to pick up and go all the way across the map to another attack and potential for Sombra to pop around. That's why he used the Translocator onto another health pack when he went for his first salvo.
They did go ahead and switch things around, moved over to the left-hand side of the map from the defense perspective, and now Asher diving in really deep here. Use the recall for fear of just getting shredded in these tight quarters. Moving up towards that pulse bomb could do some devastating damage. But yeah, Architect getting knocked down by the sleep dart. EMP coming through here. Asher not able to do a damn thing, gets taken out by one fact. So MVP space already starting things off with a pretty decent defense. See how much longer they can go ahead. Hold on to this one. It was actually the hack, not the EMP coming through, as one fact does have that available still. Looks like the translocation can drop right into the middle.
There is the EMP.
There we go. Finally drops it out. See if they can pick up any kills. It's going to be Oporochi going down first and foremost. Sleepy Bear going low with the mech. Might just get popped out of it. There we go. Does get taken down, and Conbox Spirit, that should be a halt on the show.
Yes, Sombra, ladies and gentlemen. This is all about Sombra on defense, but...
I say that, and actually it's going to be Gamsu jumping forward, but yet again, no one there to back him up. He gets taken down immediately.
And look at MVP space, they can be so conservative. They have 5 ultimates and the inevitability of the EMP coming again. Controlling one side with the late health pack, but using the Translocator before he went for Harass, next to a second health pack, a smaller pack that he hacked after that, meant there was only one area that Conbox had come through, and they were easily able to account for that as well, defending in the houses. They got the sleep onto one fact. This should be him dying first.
Yeah, oh, actually, looks like he gets out of dodge just in time. Meanwhile, Yaki with the Dragon Blade takes out both supports, gets rid of Gamsu.
3K.
They'll get rid of Architect, and it's nearly the team wipe as they chase in onto Sleepy Bear. We'll pick up that 200 HP health pack, but good lord, what a turnaround.
And just a Nano Blade, a split second as he was in mid-air for the heal deny on the grenade, got off the Translocator, no pick onto the Sombra. And to rewrite the script, that looked like it was going to be Conbox Spirit finding a way in.
I mean, that's the most damning thing. One fact is still squishy. They had the sleep dart, and they still can't kill him in time.
They're waiting out the seconds, looking to layer the damage, but couldn't do it fast enough. The Translocator was enough to get him out.
Yeah.
And now the full hold possibility is there.
You can see though, sound barrier coming down here. Architect pushing forward, has to dodge out to the side. That self-destruct, but still is able to swipe his way through Undyne, but that's all he's going to get.
He
Gets
dies.
Closer, kills him with the boot.
The fight will continue on.
And Yaki going to be pushing forward yet again. This just seems to be the hot spot to throw down your self-destructs. Not quite going to find anything though with that one. And MVP space, they lose 2 members. Kuki almost goes down.
The respawns here are going to be very considerable, the advantage with the short distance for Conbox Spirits. This might be the capture. Been slow to get the percentage up, though.
Daly makes it back into the mech. Keeps himself nice and safe. He's trying to mitigate as much as possible.
They need to rush in here. Yaki's down as well.
He's going to go ahead, jump up over onto the high ground. First tick nearly there for Conbox Spirit, and Gamsu's come up with a double kill.
This should be the capture.
Yeah, Undyne going down as well. MVP space suffering just too many losses. They'll go ahead, drain the clock as much as they can with Daly, but he doesn't last that much longer outside of the mech. And the cap will come through, but just under 4.5 minutes for Conbox Spirit.
Needs to go for the full push, but it looked like it could be a full hold. So, okay, first objective, point A, is captured. Well, frustrated for the majority of that on defense by the Sombra from OneFact, who will be sticking with Sombra.
I mean, why the hell not? You're going over on to point B where it's definitely the strongest.
And Conbox Spirit, again, bringing back an old strategy. Usually it's a defense Mei that prompts an attack Mei, but it's attack Mei from Twilight.
Yeah, interesting. What's that big zone control here?
Only Lucio is the sole healer.
Going ahead, pushing forward, trying to get those right clicks in on the closer to take out the enemy Lucio.
OneFact's already taken out Architect.
Yeah, I can't quite find that one. Twilight's just trying to keep himself alive, hovering back and forth around this low ground. Pops into the ice block. Stay up for the moment. Asher has a pulse bomb. He can find a big one. Lock down multiple members, maybe get rid of Undyne or closer. That could be a massive opening here for Conbox to try to go ahead and start getting some ticks down onto this meter.
And if OneFact just stays away, potential of canceling out a Blizzard or a big Blizzard play with the EMP is possible as well. Sure, you do have a lot of targets to just left click, but no other abilities to clean up. But speaking of clean up,
yeah, that's going to be the dash through here. Yaki getting nano boosted up. Goes ahead, dashes his way through with the Dragon Blade. Go ahead, pop him right out of the mech. They should be able to just take out Sleepy Bear. They're going to delay this as long as possible. Trying to get the reset, or honestly just leave him out into that Baby Diva form, force him to either poke out or run all the way back to the spawn, swap, lose his ult charge, and then swap back.
And the ult economy has been really good from MVP Space. You see them investing 2 ultimates to stop a push very frequently. Never do we see 3 to 5 ultimates like other teams have been guilty of. So good meterage there. They also have the Sombra. Might have to be a very aggressive defensive move because they have to feel like the inevitability of the Blizzard is closing in on them.
Yeah. You can see how much time that bought Sleepy Bear just now getting back into the mech. OneFact with a nice angle will go ahead, drop in from above. Throws out that EMP. Catches a couple different members there, but the sound barrier still comes out from the side of Conbox, and Yaki's going to be the first one that gets taken out as Architect goes forward, now draws out the Dragon Blade, finds Undyne, looking for a bit more, but can't quite play up into the face of that Winston. Daly goes ahead, boops him, throws out the self-destruct. Both of them will come out. We're not going to find anything there. It's an exchange of ultimates as they keep pushing in, trying to get that first tick. They're about halfway there, but OVERWATCH goes down.
Yeah, it looks like Conbox Spirit will not be able to finish the push here. 2 defensive picks is enough. Such a big defender's advantage on Temple of Anubis. Maybe the most guilty of that 2-point capture staple. Conbox Spirit just pull away, although Asher gets a pick onto Yaki. He's actually jumped onto the Widowmaker. They've changed their composition pretty significantly. They don't want to build up another Blizzard onto the side of Twilight. So boosting the Widowmaker might be their current strategy.
An interesting strategy with just a minute and a half left to go. OneFact yet again, EMP. Ready to go as you would expect for a Sombra.
I'm just amazed that there was no thought on the attack Sombra here from Conbox Spirit.
Yeah, oh, here we go. Massive EMP drops in, but already Daly goes down. They do trade one back here onto Twilight as Kuki takes him out. Yaki gets rid of Gamsu. Kuki leaping forward, gets rid of OVERWATCH. That's going to be the supports, and now it's just Asher and Sleepy Bear. But they're not long for this world. They still will be able to go ahead, pop out Sleepy Bear from the mech, and yet again, you just leave him to suffer, because it's either swap and lose everything, or run forward and kill yourself.
How was Twilight jumping on Sombra the third of the strategies they had for point B on this map? Amazing to consider when they were the first team to really have a player largely dedicated to playing Sombra. Has jumped on it and of course could have an ult in 40 seconds, that's the reality.
For the hack here onto Kuki.
Didn't quite get it.
Sneaks around from the side. Will get taken low, but translocators very reliable. He gets himself out to safety.
Got a lot of defense matrix timer out of the Diva. So no commitment on the Dragon, but they really want a Sombra ultimate with Para, but still far away.
Yaki goes low. He gets taken out, actually. Sleepy Bear is able to boop him in midair, takes him out. Now looking here for Undyne, who does get taken down by Asher, finishing him off. Dragon Blade comes through. Primal Rage will get popped by Kuki, who's trying to buy time here on the point for the respawns to come through, but the first tick's already been grabbed. In fact, maybe looking for the opening. Nearly has that EMP ready to roll. Going to be in overtime for Conbox Spirit if they can complete this. EMP comes down from Twilight. Going to be matched by that of OneFact, but he's going to be the first one that falls in the fight. And already MVP Space going to be at a disadvantage if they still have members trying to respawn to get back in on top of this point, then hold off this push from Conbox Spirit, but it's just not looking great. Daly goes down, Undyne falling as well. A lot of the delay tools have been burned out and expended from the side of MVP Space, and with Kuki and Yaki going down, you have to think this is very well could be it, unless OneFact can buy enough time with the Mei.
Yeah, the efficiency of doing this is so much lower with the longer respawns. The patches have topped out a lot of this staggering, but for now, it was a good start. Starting to get a couple of respawns, but no, not enough. And there is the full complete.
Yeah,
use the Conbox Spirit.
Use the wall before the ice block. Couldn't quite get himself into the corner, so had to force it out. So couldn't buy that extra little bit of time.
I mean, adding the extra time to the respawners in overtime stopped the stall from May being as effective, because before you would buy 6 to 7 seconds and a D.Va and a Winston would jump in and perhaps you could make the turn, but in this meta, much harder to get value out of May. So, amazing. Jumping on to Sombra from Twilight was the thing that got them the full complete. Who would have thought it, Achilles?
I don't know. It's just like moving away from, triple support on attack on Hanamura also helps you get a completion.
We're learning things about Overwatch today. Put those notes down in your notebook, ink them in. Going to be very useful in the next round.
Oh, dear. We should just be coaches.
We could. We'd be like, more Sombra, please. Twilight would be like, there.
Oh, okay. So it seems good to me. Fun fact, though, he put up a good performance with his own Sombra.
Certainly could be opening on the Widowmaker here, but we'll focus on the defense, as it looks like defensive dive going to be coming through from Conbox Spirit. We're not seeing Twilight start on the Sombra, but we are 100% certain he will move to it at some point.
It'll get there, unless they complete this on a full hold.
Look, to be fair, it is almost exclusively a point B defensive strategy. Seeing it on point A was unique from the side of One Fact, and I really liked what he was able to do, forcing Conbox Spirit to attack one way and still having large compositional answers to that. But I think you need to put quite a lot of time into really getting the translocator spot, being able to understand how to shift your defenses when you know for certain that the team will be using the high ground on the right side of the entrance for the attackers, and it's going to be much more standard from Conbox Spirit.
Yeah. And that was one of the crazier finds that we've seen on point A. Everybody into the side room, just throwing out multiple self-destructs.
It was like a mosh pit.
Yeah, pretty much. That's a good way to put it. But One Fact,
we've seen this before.
Shot. Nope, nothing there.
They've seen that before as well.
But he's going to stick with it.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just see the instant swap, but he's going to stick through.
Being stubborn. No sightlines yet on any defenders.
Yeah, everybody playing very far back. Finally looking for a shot here into Gamsu.
He shot the Winston in the rear.
Ouch.
Not that ouch, apparently. Winston's still fine.
They have very advanced medical technology in this.
Apparently.
At this stage of whatever.
He is able to just drop a defensive bubble randomly wherever he goes. With very little animation. I don't really know how he pulls it off.
He's a scientist.
One Fact's going down the left side. He's already lost his Zenyatta.
Yeah, very far forward here, but it does help take care of Architect as Closer boops him to death. He's trying to push for here, but now One Fact getting jumped on by Asher. Hits him quite a bit. Jumps up onto the wall to keep himself safe, but we'll go ahead and just retreat back around the side.
You don't often see Widowmakers at 30% charge after a minute. He hasn't really contributed anything, but it has been very much just a 1-for-1, and
hey man, he shot Kamsu in the rear.
he did, but that was the highlight.
Well, here we go. Yaki, speaking of ultimate charge, going to get quite a bit here as he dashes through. Helps come up with his kills as they knock Sleepy Bear out of the mech. We'll be able to finish him off with his right click on the shurikens. That gets picked off somewhere in the nether by Architect, but the rest of MVP space, they're going to go ahead and sit in nice and pretty on top of point A.
Yeah, the statistics would definitely show this was a successful push with Widowmaker, but we know the Widowmaker did nothing. Really nice play by Yaki in the top part of the area where Conbox Spirit was stagnated for quite a while. Means they take point A much faster. It was only about a 4-minute 30 time bank for the side of Conbox Spirit and MVP space. They've got some tools here. They should have between 2 and 3 ultimates available depending on the Transcendence, and opening up with Transcendence, Zone Control, and also the Dragon Blade is the potential complete, especially because Twilight is 70% away from completion on that EMP.
But we know that that's only a matter of seconds, really, before he builds that one up. A couple flanks.
Eaten there on the
down.
The pulse bomb was actually eaten. Nice stuff that would have stole a push on its own.
Not going to get that, and it's going to be MVP space just wrapping around. 5 ultimates ready to go. Sound Barrier going to be the first one that's
now or never.
Yaki with the Dragon Blade, hunting through for Overwatch. Comes up with that first kill. Self-destruct thrown down by Sleepy Bear. Is not going to find anything as they go ahead, wrap into the backside of the point to keep themselves safe. And Architect will fall. 3 members now dead as Overwatch starts respawning. MVP space having a nice firm shove on this first point. Twilight gets taken out, but not before he can use the EMP, but still, the staggered respawns coming through. Architect, the lone one alive at the moment.
He's going to try and come back in with Dragon Blade, but for now, he's not been able to get on the point. Ash is buying time. They get 2 ticks on the control point. They're getting more even. Let's watch the Dragon Blade.
Draws it out, looking for one back, can't quite find the kill. In the meantime, Asher does get taken out by Yaki, so MVP Space still having a nice forward position here on the point. Closer, getting taken down by OVERWATCH is a decent opening for Conbox to try to calm down all of this action and regain control. The rest of MVP Space do not want to allow that to happen. Kamsu gets taken out, OVERWATCH down yet again as they keep pushing forward.
But the frontliners are down on the side of MVP Space, so Conbox Spirit finally can take a brief sigh of relief. Still 4.5 minutes to only be able to defend 1 checkpoint. But Conbox Spirit don't have anything left in the war chest, but neither does MVP Space, so maybe we'll see them modify their approach. I'd love to see some attack Sombra, honestly, like we did finally see from Twilight on attack from Conbox.
Twilight's got another EMP ready to go.
Again, the only strategy I've seen work with reliability is the Talon strategy, the Sombra and the Reaper. Sombra and Genji's very similar flavor.
He goes pushing in the stealth, drops down the EMP, catches multiple members of MVP Space, and one back's going to be the first one that falls. Architect takes him out, Undyne closer, both supports swept through very swiftly by Sleepy Bear. So MVP Space just going to get bolted yet again, and Daly, he's knocked out of the mech. They're just going to go ahead, hang him out to dry.
It really does feel to me, and maybe I'm wrong on this, but my impression is that it feels a bit like Season 1 Mei, where the only way to beat a defensive Mei on Temple of Anubis was take an attacking Mei and try to just match Blizzard with Blizzard. It feels like Sombra is kind of at the same spot right now with the lower ult. Mei, of course, had the global ult nerf, where all nerfs were decreased, and also was target nerfed on her ultimate, but Sombra has almost permanent EMP, and it doesn't feel like MVP Space is really going to be able to take advantage of many holes in this defense from Conbox. But they have 3 ults, and you know that EMP will be up very short.
Yeah, he's going to have that very swiftly here. Sleepy Bear as well, getting ready with that self-destruct, and MVP Space going to be pushing forward yet again. Pulse Bomb not going to go through, gets eaten up by Daly. Asher just losing out on that one, forced into the recall. Meanwhile, Yaki drawing out that Dragon Blade. The sound barrier comes down from OVERWATCH, trying to keep him alive, but he's still going to be the first one that falls. They find more is going to be the question. Self-destruct comes through, not going to find anything, but Architect finding kills with his own Dragon Blade. Undyne and Daly both being taken out. Conbox looks to maintain control over the point.
He does invest Primal Rage, both of the Winstons Primal Rage, although Gamsu dies.
Take him out, Gamsu. Not going to be there to try to delay, and Kuki sitting in that Primal Rage, just trying to buy as much time as possible, trying to build up for that final little tick, but they can't quite get it.
Yeah,
already.
At this point, it's still too staggered. We're not in overtime, so the respawns are just too fast, and MVP Space once again are frustrated, and if they stick with the same comp, overtime is the best hope as Yaki moves away, but it's not onto something like the Sombra, it's actually onto the Roadhog.
They're still just using ultimates as they get them rather than trying to store them up for one big push. And yet again, we're going to have another pause.
Awkward, hoping it's not on the same player,
Well,
but it looks like it is.
Looks like it might be.
Cookie's computer is letting him down, it seems. We don't have full confirmation on that, but I'm sure a helpful graphic will let us know for sure.
We'll find out in just a couple moments here as they go ahead, surge into the booth to try to figure it out. And yes, it will in fact be another PC issue.
It is very hot on this side of the booth. That's the other side, so that's perhaps not it. Where is that air conditioner setting, Achilles?
I don't know. I mean, one of the players has a fan in his hand, so I imagine it's probably pretty
Hey,
hot.
a lot of the players have fans. They're watching.
Aha.
Ah! It's pause time. You got to fill the
dear.
time with something, Achilles. Come on, you were stripping. You're shameless. Don't even talk.
You got me.
I did.
I wasn't doing it for money, though.
Let the viewers know that you have since buttoned up your shirt again.
Oh, I have. I did that almost immediately after the camera cut away from us, but at the same time, I kind of want to take the shirt off given how hot it is in here.
It is. It's true. And the people are feeling it. Some Korean traditional fans there to get them through this pause. If the last pause is any indication, it's going to be a couple of minutes and we'll be able to get back into the map. So fingers crossed that is just the way forward here. MVP Space. Just don't want to go for that attack Sombra.
Not sure why.
I don't know. I really don't have an answer. I don't even mind the Roadhog and Sombra, just to be able to hook people that try to contest. If you can hook the enemy Sombra, if they try to contest, you're going for one of those forward big health packs. That could be a pick and potentially EMP into happy fun times, but for now at least, MVP Space being pretty dogged, pretty stubborn in their approach. They've moved on to the Roadhog. That was kind of the last thing, is that Yaku moved on to Roadhog, so a hook onto a Sombra would certainly slow down the EMP.
Well, right now we're slowing down everything.
We're going to go late. Let's see if we can make midnight, Achilles.
I mean,
It's 10:45 p.m. local time
This is
for
gonna
our
be-
international viewers.
this is going to be match point, and everything is still very tight-knit, so we very well could have a Game 5. So this could be a midnight night for
I'm ready.
Overwatch.
You know, I invite the midnight Overwatch. We've all played some midnight Overwatch, I'm sure, viewers and casters alike.
I was playing a bit beyond midnight Overwatch last night at a PC bong, actually.
How was the 3 a.m. Overwatch treating you?
Oh, it was just excellent.
Does the opposition get better or worse at 3 a.m.?
My team definitely gets worse.
That's not the time to solo queue, Achilles.
and thereby the opposition gets way better. Because, you know, people think that it's great to have the Bastion Hanzo duo.
How many healers did you have on your team?
Myself.
Nice.
Playing Ana.
Look at you, a 3 a.m. team player. You're not part of the problem.
I know. I'm actively fighting against it, but I'm losing the battle.
Losing the battle to Hanzo.
Yeah. That was an interesting night. That was a 5 a.m. night. That should have ended way sooner.
5 a.m. Overwatch. Oh, boy.
Yeah, I came out of the PC bong, and it was light out. I was just like, ah.
That's always when you've made a grave mistake.
Yeah, it's like, this is what it probably feels like when you go to, like, Vegas and you go to the casino.
Whoa,
But
it's Reaper saying MVP Kookie.
he's saying, hey, pick me alongside your Sombra.
Yeah. I mean, that's about as direct as can be. Come on, MVP. We already saw Envious pull it off. And we saw it also a week ago in a match that Atlas and I cast. So that talent comp that started in Challenger, then we saw adopted by X6 on this exact point, Temple of Anubis, point B. And then also by Envious in their final match of the regular group stage just on Tuesday.
And normally you wouldn't want to be doing the same thing that X6 is doing on Temple of Anubis, but their second time around was much better.
That's right. They didn't go left every time. They jumped in with Sombra Reaper. He spun like a top hat, and everyone died. Beyblade is still among the best names of a ultimate combination.
pretty on
Electric
point.
Cowboy is popping off as well.
You know, there was actually in the Beyblade anime, I just saw this. I was reminded of this. It was on the front page of Reddit a couple days ago, where they make it canon that Moses parts the sea by using a Beyblade.
Really?
Yes.
Moses confirmed. Reaper main.
They just go through the entire story, and he just parts the ocean. He parts the sea with a Beyblade. I was like, this is next level anime.
There you go. I mean, I don't read anime. Or manga, I guess you would
Because
say.
that would be manga.
I don't read a manga or watch much anime. There is the card. They have not misplaced the card. Maybe Daly's actually really bad at losing his identification, and this is for him to take home afterwards.
Maybe she's just actually a really tiny girl.
That's true. That's actually a normal card, guys. That's what you're not appreciating.
Yeah, that just fits in your wallet.
We welcome fans of all walks of life. Big fans, small fans.
Like a Sprite at that point.
It's true. Conbox also, probably not knowing much about what's going on, apart from the fact that they just have to wait there.
Yeah, just get informed like, hey, there's a problem.
Architect looks tired.
Hang out.
Twilight looks serious. He's like, I could play Sombra soon.
Kookie looks desperate.
I mean, 2 PC issues in the same night is a bad time. I know whenever I'm in a group and someone has PC issues twice, like maybe we just invite someone else. Like,
Yeah.
that's usually you as well, Achilles.
Thanks, man. I never had PC issues. I just built a new rig.
Yeah, because of your PC issues.
No, because
You had a PC issue. You wanted your PC to be better.
okay, sure. There was nothing.
How many frames do you get in
Ostensibly
Overwatch
wrong.
now?
All of them. I don't even.
All
know.
of the frames?
Probably 400 on Ultra, something like that.
Well, la-di-da. Some of us are putting our esports dollars to good use.
I agree. I am.
I'm not. I don't have a cool PC. Feels bad, man.
Well, you know, I wasn't sure. I wanted to get it. Oh, I guess we're gonna look back to Eichenwald.
That was where the bomb got no value from Asher. Are we going for any theme on the replays? We'll find out.
Oh,
Seems to be a lot of pulse bombs doing nothing.
well, that was Daly getting the eat on it.
He did
That's
eat that
another
one. That's the one I caught there. So maybe Daly's having a day out. And we are showing Daly and his giant ID card fan.
So, yep, it's at that point. We have to take a look at some pulse bomb eating montages.
Hey, look. We've leveled up as casters. We catch those pulse bombs being eaten now.
This is true.
We usually catch the good tracking as well. Sometimes it's beautiful.
Sometimes it's just gorgeous.
Oh, Atlas, we love you. The beautiful tracking meme is really funny.
It's actually like one of the best things that's happened.
Literally
to
the next
Apex.
time Atlas casted, the moment that someone popped the Soldier Ultimate, I wrote beautiful tracking in caps before anyone else did. The whole chat filled with beautiful tracking. It was wonderful.
It's even been embraced on the competitive Overwatch.
You got to
subreddit,
embrace
so.
the memes. It's so silly that it's fantastic.
Yeah. You know, just own it up. That's all you got to do.
Seems like Kuki's still having some issues. Unfortunate to hear. The first one seemed to be fixed by a restart, but now we are still waiting for things to get back in. I'd take some beautiful tracking right now, Achilles.
Yeah. Well, maybe we're going to get it. Seems like the 80s are going to be exiting the booth. Oh, no, they're coming back.
Oh, no!
Damn.
I like how we're playing the game of, like, understand the situation wordlessly.
All
Oh, they're leaving. That's probably good.
Or they're just giving up.
Yeah. I'm sorry, your PC.
You're in PC
I
script.
don't
You
know.
guys got to play
No more
5v6.
Apex till next week. Just deal with it. Competitive integrity.
I mean, they already kind of played 5v6 because OneFact's Widowmaker didn't do anything when on attack, so they could theoretically play this out.
Reminds me of your Widowmaker.
Thanks, man.
No worries.
I think my Widowmaker's pretty good.
You and you alone think that.
Oh, well. Well, to catch you guys back up, in case you're just joining us, hey, welcome to Apex Season 3.
We've got a minute 40 on an attack here. Conbox only capped point B in overtime, so there was a couple more trade-ups. Now it's Yaki off the Roadhog. It's going to be OneFact on Roadhog duty this time.
Seems like we might be having a similar situation for MVP space with this limited time pool that they have. 3 ultimates here available for Conbox, including that EMP from Twilight.
Speaking of
Go ahead,
EMPs.
jumps right in with the translocator, takes it out. Undyne and Yaki both
know how this
just
goes.
get ripped right apart. Closer going down. Kuki, OneFact, all but Daily will be finished off. And this is not looking good for MVP space.
Now, they have a minute left, which was when Twilight jumped onto Sombra, so who knows? Someone might go Sombra.
Will it happen, OneFact? No, he's still sticking with the Roadhog.
Now someone swaps to Sombra. Waiting for the Sombra.
I think you're going to have to keep on waiting.
Well, I mean, there's a Sombra advantage on Temple of Anubis, and if I've learned anything, that means the Sombra team wins. Well, I mean, they have nano boosts on a Diva, which is, again, more about controlling space. The ult there is not going to be massive. You don't really see the synergy with the nano boost coming through, so let's see if they can pull something off. A hook is probably going to have to be the start here if it's going to be the cap.
Well, they're going to go ahead and start pushing around the sidelines. Twilight gets the translocation off right as that hook comes through from OneFact, so it's going to be on cooldown for the next 3 seconds or so. Nano boost thrown out now onto Kuki. So they start pushing forward, but from the backside, Architect comes in with that Dragon Blade, has to dash away from the self-destruct.
No value.
Actually gets jumped on. Yeah, Kuki takes him out, but they lose Undyne from the self-destruct. Twilight now EMP, ready to go. Will go ahead, drop that one down, takes out Yaki right off the bat. OneFact falls as well. And just for good measure, Conbox Spirit throwing on that sound barrier just to keep themselves all safe. Which is Kuki very far forward here with the help of Daly, trying to delay as much as possible, trying to keep these hopes alive as they just need just under 33% to complete this map, but it's just not looking likely at all.
Doesn't seem so. Should be rushing down here. Oh, last second contest. We'll keep it going for a second.
Yeah, he gets the recall off, keeps himself alive, dashes back in, trying to buy a little bit more time. OneFact has already been picked off with a roam back. Zasher finishes him off. Well, members piling in, but it's closer and Undyne. They get taken down. Conbox Spirit hold through. They will be taking MVP to match point.
And why do we see it going like we expected? But I guess given the lack of differentiation between the two teams, we shouldn't be surprised that it has gone one way and then the other. The seesaw does continue. MVP Space's historic reign of terror on a Temple of Anubis has been lifted, and Conbox, on their first attempt, take down the victory. Wasn't convinced with the different attacking strategies that MVP Space used. Remember, they had a much bigger time bank than Conbox Spirit when they were pushing point B, but never looked to go towards the Sombra. The Roadhog on a couple of different players didn't inspire confidence. Looked like they didn't really have a great path to victory. They're going to have to pick themselves into a window into Game 5, because like you say, it's do or die time. One more map victory for Conbox Spirit, and they will go through to the next round.
Yeah, and this is a big moment for MVP as well, if they can make it into that round of 8. Space getting relegated in Season 1, making their way back in Season 3. We will have a play of the game. It's going to be Twilight on the Sombra. Who would have thought?
Which of the Sombra ultimates was it, though?
I don't know.
Let's watch this one.
It's
Well,
the
this
one
is
where
a lot of
he EMPs
people.
everyone.
That's 5 to 6 people there. Hard to tell from that particular angle. And then it was really fat tanks running away, feeding ult charge, and that's the worst part of it.
I mean, it was everybody on Conbox Spirit on fire, other than OVERWATCH.
And when you get a 6-man Sombra ultimate on a map where you can't suicide or jump off the edge, then Roadhog and all these other tanks are just feeding charge for the next inevitable Sombra ult plus combo from the DPSs. So that's the worst case scenario.
Yeah. Pretty bad, but now, match point here for Conbox Spirit, seeking to close things out. It's going to be Dorado, the selection from MVP space.
Jumping onto Dorado will be intriguing. We saw Dorado earlier today frustrate a side of Kongdu Panthera. No Dorado games actually between either of these two teams, so more uncharted territory here in Apex.
Gonna discover something new between these guys. So you can come out on top. Will that seesaw, that teetering back and forth continue? Will Conbox be able to close this out with a 3-1? They said in their interview that they thought it was going to be a 3-0.
I mean, it was a 50-50 or maybe a 51-49 to Conbox Spirit before the match. They had the slight edge, given the fact they'd played before. No repeat of the 3-0. Conbox Spirit on the precipice of the next round. But this could still very much seesaw our way to a Game 5.
All right, well, the victory's in their eyes. Let's see if they can grasp it, or if MVP will just drag it away from them for a little bit longer, force out that 5th and final map. Let's go ahead, load up for Dorado.
I get it.
Like you said, boisterous are the fans. Even still, as we near 11 p.m. here in Korea, as we very well could be here till close to midnight.
At this point, I welcome it. You know, the issues have added on a little bit of extra time. A 5-hour Overwatch broadcast for 2 best-of-5s would be different, but we're used to it, man. We've had plenty of long nights casting esports,
yes.
Achilles.
Had some interesting times. Hour and 15-minute long pauses. Good times.
Our socks are still on, so we're doing all right. The defense
Socks
here,
are on, the shirt was almost not.
we saw this defense before. Earlier today, the triple tank on defense, bringing back Season 1 and Season 2 strategies. No Mei to add to it to go full Season 1, but very much going to be about a much more shallow defense as the cart rounds the corner.
Yeah, I mean, that was in the must-hold situation for Kongdu Panthera.
They have the McCree here. That's kind of the tech choice. Not a Mei, it's a McCree, but McCree will have a happier time trying to deal with the Farah, who's the one who can really profit from the setup from Conbox Spirits. Only really the McCree that has any level of threat.
Yaki coming straight out the gate, sleeping forward onto that high ground. It's met by that Reinhardt shield, however, so it's not going to be able to get too much thrown down here. Just the passive ult percentage coming through so far for him.
Cheeky greeting there from the Diva. The jump up. As you can see, the defense line is going to be drawn much more shallow.
Yeah, just right into this underpass. And Asher looking for that wraparound from the Farah, trying to deny that as best as possible so he can start getting those hits in.
Start
take
seeing
her out of the
some
sky.
rockets, and we'll see where the battle goes between the Farah and the McCree. Might shape this particular engagement.
So raining in from above, gonna get those hits in. Asher does fine. A couple shots in, but instantly gonna get healed up by Undyne. Now looking for the hit onto the enemy Tracer, but it's not gonna be able to find it.
Taken
Yaki actually
down.
pushes really far forward with that distraction from one fact, is able to go ahead and get rid of Asher. So now that DPS line from Conbox Spirit will be a bit shattered as they keep trying to push that payload forward. Kamsu's still sitting very far up.
Yeah, both tanks were actually taken out from the side of MVP space, so 3-0 tanks, always going to be massive advantage to Roadhog and friends. So that means that even though the pick looks very consequential on the McCree, McCree can make the walk of shame back because of the strong formation of the tank line.
They have the Nano Boost ready to go. They're going to go ahead and toss this one out in onto Sleepy Bear.
Already taking down the couple of members here. Once again, Cookie dies early.
Taking him out, so yet again MVP space just going to get halted.
one ult repels a push, and they will very soon have Earth Shatter and also the whole hog. So half of the time bank is gone. Conbox Spirit, 3 ults. MVP Space, Farah ultimate will definitely have to justify what has been a lot of long-range salvo shots, but not a lot more from Yaki.
I mean, you have to expect that if they can go ahead and just complete this full hold, that should be the series in the bag. It would be a very impressive hold from MVP Space on the defense, but that's going to be the barrage coming through with the help of the Pulse Bomb to take out Gamsu, but Architect is able to get rid of Yaki, and Asher's on the backside, has that Deadeye ready to go. The res comes through, can't quite get it as they duck in behind the payload to keep themselves
Got pretty
safe.
greedy there, looking for kills off of the res.
Yeah, can't find it. Still going to be Yaki just firing in from above. Trying to take them out, and does get rid of Architect, so nice little opening here
Watch
for
for the Earth
them.
Shatter here, could be big.
Be looking to line this one up. Doesn't have anybody really to body block this
Yeah,
one.
he's running out of allies as well. Even if the Earth Shatter is massive, probably not going to have enough friends to profit from it.
Yeah, he's going low. Last shot there from Yaki, straight on top of his head. Will take him out. That will be the completion. But running down the clock significantly is that defensive Conbox Spirit. So 3.5 minutes on the clock here for MVP Space to go through the streets phase.
It's worth noting that, sure, they bought a lot of time, but the comp they have is not really in any way set up for the streets phase. They're going to have to make a lot of changes and thus lose out on ult economy here. Sleepy Bear has ult, Oborochi on the Lucio has ult, but Architect is swapped over. And now the comp is very much more about defending the high ground and dropping down than it was before.
See what they get done. Gamsu already going to go ahead, push forward as Asher just fires away from the high ground, finds closer, and Undone goes down, so both supports have been taken out, but Yaki pushing forward is able to get rid of that McCree, and they answer Twilight as well. Good target selection coming through. Meantime, off screen, you hear that bang, and Gamsu goes down for the Pulse Bomb.
Yeah, Architect doing some work in the back line, but the cart, while not moving, there has been good kills towards the side of MVP Space while we were watching Architect. Looking to take out the Diva and actually start seriously pushing the cart.
Yeah, this should get them quite a bit of distance here. Oborochi and Sleepy Bear both now respawn.
MVP Space did win that on balance, even though they didn't invest the sound barrier with the Lucio going down first.
Oh, Twilight in a bad spot. Pops by out a grenade, drops down to the low ground, but it's caught up on the corner. So he does
Fade
make it out
away
of time,
ultimate
and yeah,
onto Architect.
Actually gets the nano boost out in onto Architect, but he doesn't have any targets. So just finds the one kill, and outside of that, it's not going to get any further use.
Did look a bit like a panic ultimate. We've all had those in competitive play where
Yeah,
you think you're going to die and like, well, we might lose the fight. I'll just shoot out the ult. But in the end, got no value from it.
That's when you get a boostio.
Well, at least it was a boosted Genji, so that's better.
I'm saying it's solo queue. It's usually the
Oh,
boostio.
it's always. Sometimes the Battle Mercy.
He's just always sleeping in front of you.
One of my proudest moments was ulting a Mercy, allowing her to jump in and actually get the res off, otherwise she would have died. So, the one time it was unironic. But yeah, the boostio's happened plenty of times too, let's be real.
Well, nearly completed here on this point
Catch
B.
Oborochi
Oh.
during the channel.
Yeah, takes him down already. Yaki dashing through, gets rid of Twilight. Asher falls as well. Big profit on the Dragon Blade. Sleepy Bear dashes forward, just get rid of closer to buy a little bit more time here for Conbox Spirit on the defense, but Sleepy Bear is going to go ahead and gets popped out of the back and gets melted down. Gamsu with the Primal Rage, you can see just trying to buy enough time.
That's from
That one
Conbox
will
Spirit. That's
expire.
Oborochi, who died during the first attempt to get the sound barrier off. Just trying to delay here.
Jumping into
Gamsu's
the
not
air.
dead yet.
Yeah, barely stays alive, but getting popped back up by Twilight. Just
The cart
continuously
doesn't
healing it.
move the entire time. It was actually a success.
It's going to be the Transcendence thrown out here from Undyne, pushing forward. They get rid of Twilight, looking for a bit more ground to be gained. As they all just pile in on top of the payload. Daly does have that self-destruct ready to go, can use that to try to zone them back. And Sleepy Bear is just doing so much work on the other side of the spectrum with his own Diva. One back and the Zenyatta both taken out, and Closer goes down as well.
That was actually Conbox profiting off Architect's Dragon Blade. Didn't get any kills with it, but got a lot of people low. Really heroic defense there, buying so much time. When Oborochi went down mid-channel of the sound barrier, I thought for sure MVP Space would get the last meterage, but they bought so much time heroically. A lot of it was Asher on the cart, diving in and out. But now, Sleepy Bear and Asher buying time has meant that Conbox Spirit have a chance of holding before it gets to point C.
14 or 10 seconds now left on the clock. See the nano boost coming through here onto Gamsu. Closer. And the other supports just hanging out inside the bank. Will get taken out. Undyne, the first one to fall. Self-destruct thrown into the vault, but it's not going to come up with anything here for the side of MVP Space. A bit of a desperation move. Now,
Yaki
Danger
dies with
getting
the Dragon
pushed in
Blade up
off
as
the
well.
point. Self-destruct thrown out by Sleepy Bear. Can he find anything? With the sound barrier coming through as well for Conbox Spirits. They keep trying to posture forward, maintain control over this payload and get everybody off of it. Kuki buying so much time for his team will finally go down. They will get halted 79.89 meters in front of point B.
Fantastic delay there on defense from Conbox Spirit. Did so much work holding it before it could finally be pushed. I thought for sure the full push would come through, but not quite. Denied in the end.
It's looking really good for them. Had a massive movement up through the streets phase. But after that, the shutdown came through from Conbox Spirit. But now MVP space. Let's see what they can piece together for the defense. We saw Conbox trying to do that triple tank. Didn't quite have the May to really make it that season 1, as you said. But they're going to be looking to, for that full hold on point A, so they don't even have to risk the streets phase happening.
Yeah, Conbox Spirit, I was so surprised with OVERWATCH going down. They actually were able to just about hold the cart in position. So many stall tactics that by the time he came back in, Lucio Ultimate bought them more time, and MVP Space are going to be frustrated with their eventual push. So often we see it going further, and Yaki with a bit of a tribute to his teammate, One Fact. Don't think we're going to see Yaki on the Bastion.
Almost certainly not. That's a One Fact thing.
Exactly, it was a tribute. I was going to do some Tenacious D lyrics there, but I'll hold off it.
All right, well, they're going to go for the triple support.
Support on Hollywood I like because there are a lot of great defensive positions for them to kite back to, but can still be taken out. Here they're largely going to be playing, you imagine, on this ledge. It's the same triple support. When we say triple support, it is invariably Lucio, Zenyatta, and Ana. Ana's been the one forced out. Lucio and Zen by far the standard picks.
All right, we'll see how this one's going to go.
They're going to get early information, you'd imagine. Should be pretty high value sooner or later.
Yeah, they already see multiple members hanging out on that high ground, so spots out the rest of them in Twilight. Surprise, going to be moving over to the Sombra. So nothing too shocking here, and Asher's already wrapped himself around onto the high ground from behind.
The theory here is that if they don't take down a single target, you can heal through it, and the support ultimates will allow for a full hold. You're shooting for full hold when you go triple support, because you will have to change if you get onto Street's face.
Yeah, but once you get Twilight dropping down that EMP, that means that Undyne's going to be that much more susceptible to falling. So still a bit of a risk, and a decent counter coming out here from Twilight if you just build up for that ultimeter. See here people jumping forward, giving him some nice juicy targets to get hits on. Jumps back with the translocator.
3 down on the side of MVP Space, that's 4.
Yeah, this should be a massive shove here for Conbox Spirit. Not quite into point A, I would expect, but maybe they can go the distance right off of this one. They're going to get a nice delay onto Daly as well, dashing through. Helps Gamsu take him down, and honestly, this could just be the push.
Yeah, Yaki's back alive, so he's the most likely to be able to touch the point, but it's going to take a long amount of toil for the rest of the defenders to get there. So let's see. And we will see Yaki drop onto the cart and buy some meterage.
Yeah, but now just 0.99 away, and Architect's drawing at the Dragon Blade. Already finds one onto Undyne, dashes through, finds One Fact as well. Into the barrier, he goes slashing away at the Winston. Can't quite get the kill onto Kuki, but forces him away. And that's the cap on the point A. 5 minutes on the clock here for Conbox Spirit, and they're still looking for these stagger kills as they try to retreat yet again, popping Daly out of the back, and they can just leave him be.
All right, guys, let's put triple support on Dorado in the not good column on point A. It doesn't work. There's too many flank routes. We know that Farah can run around. Genji can get into the back line. I don't even think it was the best tech choice from Conbox Spirit. Usually we have something with burst, like, for example, McCree, to take down one of the supports instantly. That's what we saw Rogue do when they were on attack against triple support. That was on Hollywood that time. Hollywood, it makes sense.
Goes ahead, drops it in. Yaki's going to be the first one to fall. One Fact quickly falling thereafter, and Kuki goes down.
The killing fields on point B.
Both the DPS already been taken care of, and this payload is bumping.
Yeah, Lucio's got it right. MVP Space kind of doing the walk of shame in every direction but towards the cart, which means the cart is almost fully pushed.
Yeah. Asher taking out Daly as well, so now it's going to be all on Kuki. Self-destruct thrown out.
Just
to
to
try to zone them back. The barrier does block it out for Kuki here so he can stay alive. Goes very low. Doesn't get the pop. The Primal Rage on
the point.
Takes them out, and they have to just pile on here. You can see closer, trying to buy as much time as he can. Pops that amplification on the healing just to try to stay alive, but they can't do it. And Conbox Spirit stomped them out on Dorado, and they'll close out the series 3-1. They're moving on to the round of 8.
That's the first time the map choice didn't go the way of the team picking it, and Conbox Spirit are pumped. They battled back into Apex Season 3 through the relegation promotion tournament, and this is them going a step further. A squad that was so body blown in Season 2 when they lost their star player Zunba, couldn't really find an identity during the course of Season 2, but Twilight being the Sombra main, and just the team in general picking themselves up, used to be built around a strong tank duo, still have good tank players, but you'd have to say Gamsu on our screen had a very poor match by his standards, so he's going to be so happy that as a captain, he didn't have a captain's performance, but yet his team still did carry them through to the next round.
Yeah, they said they wanted to make him smile. I saw a bit of a wry smirk there on his face, so definitely a lot of work to be done as they get ready for the next stage of the tournament, but still, they confirm themselves to move forward, the second seed from Group C. So congratulations, Conbox Spirit. Such a turnaround for these guys after, as you said, they were in the promotion tournament to re-qualify for Season 3.
And then the moment you hear promotion tournament to make it to the next round, you think back to Runaway and you wonder, is this the team? My prediction on Conbox Spirit,
Probably
it's no,
not.
but it feels like that is a story that will repeat. While we're still in the infancy of the Overwatch scene, there is the chance for big sea changes, and we are awaiting a sea change of a patch. There will be quite a lot of change